if Universal Pictures intended to make the Addams Family boring, they definitely succeeded in this film. The Addams Family is an idea first conceived in 1937 by Charles Addams, who had a very macabre sense of humour. It's an idea that juxtaposes the fantastic and gruesome with the mundane and ordinary. The characters weren't named until 1964, when ABC aired a sitcom based on the comics. The family's first appearance in animation was as guest stars in a Scooby-Doo special, and then later they had their own animated series in 1973. There are 3 live-action movies as well, the first of which being what most people think of when you mention the Addams Family these days. But what most people associate the Addams Family with is the theme song, one of the best theme songs ever, which this movie did not appreciate or convey. Although it did have an animated sequence that was pretty much scene-by-scene remake of the sitcom from the 70s, which was kinda nice, but not many people are very familiar with that series. They're more familiar with the movies from the 90s. So to me it was kind of pointless. There was a second animated series in the early 90s and a reboot live-action series in the late 90s, and there was also a stage musical, but I sadly never got to see that. Suffice to say, the Addams Family was incredibly popular back in the day, and the possibility of an animated movie being made to revive the family was something I was very excited about. In 2010, it was rumoured that Illumination Entertainment acquired the rights to the Addams Family drawings, and that the film would be stop motion, with my favourite director Tim Burton being attached to the film as a co-writer and producer, and even possibly directing the film. But in 2013, the film was cancelled. This was kind of like my dream movie, and to have it cancelled was just so disappointing. The Addams Family had a huge influence in American comics, cinema, and television, being one of the most iconic fictional families ever created. So you can imagine the build-up and hype that was growing around the possibility of a feature-length animated film. I was excited and hopeful that we would either get a Burton-esque Addams Family film in stop motion or CG, or one on the same energy level as, say, Hotel Transylvania. I suppose having Tim Burton make an Addams Family film is a little too obvious of a combination, and is perhaps why it didn't work out in the first place, but who knows. But with it being CGI, I was really hoping for something with fast-paced Looney Tunes style animation similar to Hotel Transylvania to go along with the macabre humour, juxtaposed with a family who, in spite of how macabre they appear to be on the surface, are very loving and caring towards each other, showing that love by all the attempts of trying to do each other in very creative ways, juxtaposed with this very Victorian style of courtesy. Throw that into contemporary setting and the family automatically are the most interesting thing on screen. But this film? It played it far too safe to me. The animation had next to no comedic energy, and the story was a mash of 3 or more B-plots squished together in an attempt to fill a 90-minute runtime. It just felt lazy and boring. Though I adored how the movie looked, and the characters were modelled after the original illustrations, which was a really nice touch to me, but the style ends with the family and the rest of the world is just very bland and lackluster. The whole thing just looks really cheap to me. For example, you have a scene where Pugsley is riding on a bomb through the sky, and they don't make a reference to Dr. Strangelove? Are you serious? The opportunity is right there! To me, this movie wasn't clever, it wasn't funny, and it missed very obvious opportunities to make references to classic movies, which to me, this movie needed to do, because a lot of movies in this kind of tone are not as mainstream or as well known, so referencing these movies would be like a love letter to the audience that loves these kind of movies. The family dynamic itself lacked the carefree confidence they had about being themselves, and lacked any kind of concern when seeing people being fake, like they had in the live action movies. It has all the aesthetics an Addams Family should have, but it just lacked the atmosphere and the mood. It wasn't creepy, it wasn't kooky, or mysterious or spooky. It was altogether boring. I'm Mad Munchkin. I'm going to watch the Addams Family Values.